The power of his dream brings you here, his man, Sean Carlard.
Everything must be done by appointment only. Every single thing you do must be by appointment all the time. Now, you go, what do you mean by everything must be appointment? Well, let me tell you what's going to happen in my day now. I'm going to drive in the car, and when I drive in the car, I spend time where I want to make contact with people. It's a nice focused area, and it's nice and quiet. And it's in my diary, it says daily contact time between 12 and 1. So depending on what time I leave the radio station and time I get into my car, I'm going to have about 45 minutes where I can have a conversation with somebody. Then I put the name in there. Then when I get home, I'm going to be spending time with Wilma, and we have our main meal at lunch. So that's in there, lunch and coffee time. So it reminds me that after lunch, I'm not just going to eat it and finish my lunch. I must sit down and have coffee and just get the day sorted. Then I'm going to decide what I'm going to do for the afternoon. And then at 5 o'clock, I'm going to have logistics and the next day planning at 5 o'clock. And that runs from 5 to 5:30. Then I'm going to go spend, I'll maybe watch something on TV, do gym between 7 and 7:30. Then I'm going to watch another program at 8 o'clock. And then I have movie time with my wife every night at 10 o'clock. If it happens or changes, I'll say to her, what time tonight? And if we're busy with something, but every night before I go to sleep, she's in my arms and she's in mine. Then tomorrow, my wake up is going to be, so what I do is I wake up at 7 o'clock, and then I kind of get my mind around what I've already decided the night before. Remember, because I've already planned for my day the next day. So that was last night. I planned for the day that I'm already having, and I've started my day off with sleep, so I'm really refreshed. Then, as you know, I'm going to, once I've got ready, I'm going to have a cup of coffee with Wilma, and we're going to pray for the day. And we focus on what's going to happen for the day. Then I come to the show, and after the show, the routine goes again. But tomorrow, I have time with my son, which I do every Tuesday since he was 5 years old, and now he's 30. And we're going to spend time where him and I are going to do whatever he wants to do. Then it's logistics. But what the point behind the whole thing is time with my wife. It's diarized. Gym, diarized. The time that I grow myself, diarized. The time that I want to spend time in fellowship, diarized. The time that I'm going to fix the house, diarized. The time that I spend with my wife Saturday evenings, date night, diarized. The time I play games online, diarized. Every single thing. Friends, coffee, diarized. Coaching appointments, diarized. Every single thing that I do, including my day off, is put into the diary. The crazy thing is, when you schedule everything, people stick to appointments. Remember, we've talked about integrity, where integrity is doing what you say, and if you can't do it, don't say it. So every single thing, if a person phones me, my diary goes open, I set the appointment there and then. If people say to me, listen, Sean, Saturday, 10 o'clock, I go, no, sorry, I have an appointment at that time. And an appointment could just be me going to have a cup of coffee with me or with a friend. I don't have to tell you, and I don't have to make reasons or justifications about my appointments. You see, what does happen is you're going to spend time with you. And you say, this afternoon I'm going to do it. Around about 2 o'clock. It's not in your diary. Somebody phones you and says, hey, what are you doing this afternoon? Can I come around? I want to use your internet. And you go, well, I suppose I wasn't really doing anything. I suppose you can come around. And then they come around and your whole afternoon, and when they go home, you go, I needed to do what I needed to do. So you start to run guilt because you're not doing the things that you need to do. So when you're going to wake up and you're going to have quiet time in the morning and somebody says, can I talk to you about so-and-so? You go, no. We do logistical planning this afternoon. Let's put it in there. Also, what some people do, I do it on a daily basis because we do so many things at the same time. But you can have your time where you and your family, you and your husband first, where you sit down and logistically plan and decide what you as a family are going to do concerning different things. Paying bills, visiting people, the time that you're going to spend with the kids, where you're going the weekend, things you want to do around the house. So when you're supposed to be sitting down and having a cup of coffee, it's not time for somebody to sabotage you and say, hey, can I talk to you about this? Because finally they've got you in the place where you are sitting doing nothing. You go, no, hold on a second. Remember Wednesday afternoon between 3 and 4, we do logistical planning. Can that wait until then? And they go, actually, yes, it can wait, but there's one thing. You say, okay, well, I am busy with my coffee. It's an appointment I have with myself every afternoon. Give me a half an hour. When I'm finished, I'll speak to you. And what starts to happen when you have your non-negotiables? The non-negotiables are date time, if you're married, with you and your spouse, time with your children, time with bigger families, time with friends, time growing your brain personally, time that you're going to spend growing you in a new sport, time that you're going to look after yourself financially, which will be your job or your purpose in your destiny, time that you're going to look after yourself mentally. How are you growing yourself besides the Word of God? How are you growing yourself mentally? What is a new skill you can do? What is it? Maybe you go to flower arranging, or maybe you're going to go learn how to play the piano. But how are you growing yourself mentally and socially? I will have places where I'll go coffee with ? Then I go, it's that time of the week. I've got to have coffee with somebody. I don't feel like it, but it's an appointment. So then I go and I rack my brain. I go, who would I want to spend time with today that can fill me? Remember that time I told you about how to keep your emotional tank full? What are the things that you're doing in your week, and what appointments have you set aside where you get filled, where you go out to coffee with people who fill you? Somebody who will make you laugh, somebody who will teach you something, somebody that will just listen to what you say. And then the time you're going to go for a walk in the mountains, the time you're going to go watch a sunset. Every single thing you do must be by appointment. The reason why psychologically we don't mess with appointments. We make sure that we keep appointments. Does that make sense? So when we, as servant leaders, we need to prioritize. Activity does not equal accomplishment. And everything you do, every conversation you have with people, you make it by appointment only. And the weirdest thing, you will be so surprised as to how much free time you actually land up with. You're going to go no ways. Because what we must understand, when everything's done by appointment, what is important today is not necessarily important tomorrow. And what's also understandable is it can change at any time, because you made the diary. You can change the appointments. But what it means is you're guarding your heart, that other people can't come and steal your time. You're holding yourself accountable to your time, and you're taking away all the regrets and maybe the disappointments that you're having in yourself because you just didn't get around to it. Very, very important. Make sense? Well, you don't have to agree with me. I just want you to understand. So let's say, shall we have a brand new start?
The power of his dream brings you here. His man, Sean Carlard.